We're back with another episode of In the Trenches with your TC, and today we have the amazing Ashley, and she has got some awesome stories. So make sure that you stay tuned in at the end. We're going to talk about some tips and tricks that you can use in your business to make sure that more of your deals are closing and that money is going in your pocket. So Ashley, thank you for coming back and doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Is it your first time in the podcast room?
It is. I love it.
We're in the dark. We're sitting back here in the dark and in the air condition. So the reason I wanted to bring you back here is because I was told you have some cool stories of some transactions that you worked on with a couple of our clients.
I do, yes.
All right,
I
jump into it.
Bankruptcy, and it was in Arizona. And at first, we didn't realize that it was in bankruptcy. I found out through sending out my seller documents, which one of the questions are, is your property in bankruptcy?
So let me stop you there. So for people who don't understand, so when you as a client, when you upload your contracts to us, you give us just a little bit of information, right? It's the seller's name.
Yes.
Like you get their phone number, their email, and you get the contract. Sometimes clients tell us a little bit of a story, right? Like what's going on.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But bankruptcy was not in that story.
It was not. No, not at all.
Okay. So what's the first thing you typically do when you get these contracts? Like how to kind of walk people through what it looks like for you.
So whenever I see a contract, I first go and I look through what is the expiration date, what is the sell price, who is the seller, the buyer, information like that.
Like is it signed?
The basics.
Yeah, is it signed? Do you have a good contract, right?
Yeah, right.
Cool.
And my next step is contact the seller. So I reached out to the seller, introduced myself like usual, just, hey, I'm Ashley, I'll be your TC. And get off the phone, and she says, oh, here's the information to my bankruptcy attorney.
Okay.
Okay.
New information, but this is why we have this. You know, we call it a seller document, but it's sort of an intake form for every seller. Because we don't want surprises to pop up at closing, right? So what you're doing and the rest of the team out there is we're asking as many questions as we can of these sellers at the beginning, because we're just rooting out problems. Like what are some potential things that could pop up later and torpedo this deal?
Yes.
So if you had not asked that question, we would have just rolled on like normal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the title company, we send them the seller docs.
Right.
And so that helps out, giving them that information. That also helps them with their information, with their title commitment.
Yeah. But if we didn't do that, and I'm saying we didn't ask for that, this deal may have never closed because it would have just gone right into bankruptcy.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
So I reached out to my client, and I said, okay, so I'm going to be contacting the bankruptcy attorney.
Yeah. Did the client have any idea that they were in bankruptcy?
He had no idea. He said, oh, this is new.
New information.
New information.
Side note, if you're in acquisitions, you should be asking these kinds of things. But if not, we got you. Ashley's got you.
Yes. And so, of course, I contact the bankruptcy attorney. He said, well, there's 2 mortgages, and the second one, we have approval to sell. The first one, we do not. So I said, okay, no problem. And just go through, send the information to the title company, like usual.
Yeah.
Title company comes back and says, oh, well, this isn't our jurisdiction. Reach out to the sister company.
They don't close in that area.
Yes, correct.
So very important thing. This is why you want to, work with somebody like us that has partner title companies all across the country, because, your local title company may not work in that area. It could be the next town over, next county over, or they may not want to fool with this kind of deal.
Yes, correct. So I reached out to the sister company, and they said, well, we can't take this file. It is in active bankruptcy. Okay.
Which you can. They just didn't want to be bothered with it. Okay.
Yes.
Good enough.
So going through the whole process, I reached out to a total of 5 title companies, none of which would take this file.
Really?
Yes, they all told me no. Then I'm speaking with the agents, and they said, well, we didn't know that this was in bankruptcy.
Oh, so it was a novation?
It was a novation.
Okay, got it.
Yes. And they were like, we had no idea. I said, we didn't really know either until I reached out to the seller.
Yeah. So all these people that are involved, nobody asked the question except us, you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Was this the first time that you handled a bankruptcy?
Yes, this was my very first case with a bankruptcy.
So, and I definitely want to get into this because you're one of our newer transaction coordinators. So first time with a bankruptcy, what did you do? Did you spin your chair around and go, hey, peoples, Tell me what to do here.
Well, I was actually working on a foreclosure as well, and one of my coworkers, one of my teammates, Hannah, she's awesome with foreclosures. She was giving me some insight. Hey, this is what you need to do. You need to get permission from the seller to speak with the mortgage company, the bankruptcy attorney, and so uneasy, but I felt confident since I had
The team around
backup.
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's an advantage that I think our team has over anybody else, or maybe some wholesalers out there who want to hire some ex-realtor to be their TC, which that's not terrible, but it's not going to be great. Because after doing 8,000 files out there, like the collective knowledge of everybody, if you haven't done one particular thing, is that you can really lean on each other, and that just, you get all of that kind of experience to help you.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So, awesome. Well, let's roll in a little bit. So you are newer. How long have you been with us?
I've been here with REI for 4 months, since April.
4 months.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me what did you do before?
I actually worked with adults with intellectual disabilities, with autism, schizophrenia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great. So I always make the joke that probably makes you perfect for work with us, with wholesalers. Because, while we can be smart and everything, we do feel like we have some learning disabilities. So, and I'm speaking for me, not you guys, but we know. Well, cool. So what made you decide to answer an ad to be a transaction coordinator?
Real estate is not a field that I'd worked in the past, and I thought this is very interesting, and I feel confident in learning the trade.
Okay. So you came in, and of course you interviewed, kind of got a little feel for what we were doing, and talk a little bit like what was the training like, because this is something that was kind of brand new. So you brought skills to the table of working with people, problem solving, handling crisis and stress and all of that stuff, and that's probably one of the reasons that they wanted to bring you in. But the other stuff you had to learn, kind of what was that training like? Was it like, holy shit, this is weird stuff?
The training, it was very in-depth, and probably the best training that I've ever received at a company before.
I'm saying thank you, but that's Heather and Steve and Hannah and everybody else that does that stuff. So
I was given the folder, and my team lead, she went over everything. We spent, this wasn't a one-day training.
No, you were in the classroom for probably a week before you started even sitting in front of a computer, right?
Oh, yeah. It was very in-depth.
You had 30 minminutes of me in there. I told you, hold on. They let me come in and talk to you for 30 minutes about my nonsense.
But it was very helpful.
Yeah.
We had quizzes. Of course, all the support from all of my teammates, admin. It was fantastic, the training. And I'm still learning. Even some of my teammates who've been here for a while, they said they're still learning.
Oh, I think, after doing 8,000, I think we've seen the bulk of everything that's out there. But every so often, there's definitely some nuanced things that you're like, oh, well, that's new. You people out there figured out a new way to create some wacky scenario. And, that's always going to happen. And, what we do, what our clients do as wholesalers is pretty straightforward, right? It's real estate. We buy low, we sell high. But it's all of it's the people out there, right? And the situations that sort of, shuffle up the deck on every deal. And you're like, oh, I've never seen those three things combined before. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and do this.
Right.
Nice. So, you go through training. You've been doing it for a couple of months. So what'd you say, 4 months?
About 4 months,
Have you got your certified?
I have not.
Oh, okay. So you're still kind of quasi-training, but I feel like you're moving there. You're probably pretty close to getting it. Awesome. So what are some of the other wild and wacky deals that you've done?
I have had a foreclosure, my very first foreclosure, and we did not know it at the time, but
again, another surprise?
Yes. The date of auction had already been set. And the property was to sell at the end of July. The date of auction was July 9th.
Okay.
Yes.
So you get the file, call the seller. Nobody knew, the wholesaler, our client did not know it was?
We did know it was a
Okay,
foreclosure.
this one we did. Okay.
We did know, yes.
Good.
Yes, we did know that.
But he didn't know, he did not know what the foreclosure date was, or was he just hoping that we would be able to stop it?
We did not know the day of the auction.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay.
Yes.
So that's why the discrepancy of the auction date, but then the contract expiration date was, at the end of the
Yes.
month. Got
Yes.
it. Okay.
Correct. And so I got permission from the seller to speak with the mortgage company.
Got it.
It was funny talking to Rocket Mortgage. They, at one point, they asked me if I spoke English and if I needed an interpreter.
So I speak Southern. That's English, still
Right.
English around here.
Right, yes.
Okay.
So luckily, I was able to get permission from the seller, speak with them about the account.
Okay.
I was in contact with the title company, and they had to get in touch with the attorney because we were trying to extend the auction date.
Got it.
Yeah, so that way,
So we went to them and said, hey, there's a buyer. It's a real buyer, a real contract.
Yes, yes.
We just need time to get this done. Because banks don't really want a foreclosure. They don't
Right.
want to do that. They would just rather get their money and, move on. Okay,
right,
Nice.
right. And I had spoke with the attorney, and they said, if you can get this funded and closed before auction, perfect. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
you can
dude,
sell
but
it.
that's in a couple days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talked to my client. It was also a novation.
Okay.
So had to talk with the agents as well. And I said, hey, if title's ready to close before the 9th, the lenders are good to close by the 9th, we can get this done.
Was there a buyer in place?
There was.
Okay, nice.
Yes. The buyer, I found out through the agent, was in Okinawa.
The buyer was, not even in the United States.
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
He
He's
was
over there with
in-
Mr. Miyagi doing a little wax on, wax off.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
And I had told the agent, hey, can we get this sold? Would that be okay with the buyer? And she said, well, that's not possible. He's in Okinawa. And I'm like, oh, okay.
We can do
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
And she said, well, he was going to fly in to sign. And I'm like, well, can he fly in sooner?
Yeah.
And she said, that's not possible. I said, okay, well, here's what we can do. We can reach out to the embassy. We can have it overnighted. There are ways. And she said, no, that's not possible. That's not going to happen. So
Thank you for being open-minded and helping your
yes.
client with his thing, but
Yes.
it can happen because we do it all the time.
right. So what we ended up having to do was get a power of attorney. The buyer's mother still lived in the States, so we were able to get power of attorney that way.
So we still had to send a POA over for them to sign, and they had to go
Yes.
to the embassy.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And we've had this happen before where our title company prepared the power of attorney, sent it to the seller's wife who was in Egypt, and she went into the embassy, and they're like, oh, you don't want this power of attorney. You want this power of attorney that we have with the United States seal on it. And it came back, and the title company rejected it because it was too broad. Because powers of attorney, the title company always looks at a POA as fraud, right? Like, why is this person not showing up? So they're very, very particular. And she had traveled from Egypt to Jordan by that time, and we had to do it again and said, please only sign this paper at the embassy now, or there was a consulate in Jordan, and then send that back to us. So she had to do it twice. So it's always good to make sure you're following the instructions of your TC or in the title company. Yeah.
Yes. So luckily, we got the power of attorney back. Everybody was okay with signing early. Signing date was, we got it set for Monday at 3:30. The seller she was actually in Chicago, so she wasn't even in the state where her property was.
Yeah.
But luckily, we used a mobile notary, and so they met her to get this signed. The buyer's mobile notary got there late,
Of course I did.
so the attorney wasn't going to get the paperwork until the following day. Yes, and so it was, okay, are they going to get it in time for us to actually...
So racing is like Mission
Yes.
Impossible. Dun, dun, dun. Trying to make sure this is happening.
Yes. Luckily, we have an excellent title company in North Carolina that we like to use, and they were able to get everything sent over in time, and it closed on the 8th.
Okay, so let me make sure I've got this.
Yes.
We have a seller in North Carolina
Yes.
who did not tell our wholesaler client, or did tell the wholesaler client, that they're in foreclosure.
Foreclosure.
The wholesaler's in Arizona. Okay. And his buyer, it's a
Yes.
Novation, is using a realtor, and the actual buyer is in Okinawa, Japan,
Yes.
who he can't get back in time. So he POAs to his mom, who's in Chicago.
North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Oh, who was in Chicago?
The seller at the time.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Yeah.
So let's do this again. So we have a seller who's in foreclosure in North Carolina, but she's actually in Chicago.
Yes.
We have an investor client who's in Arizona who signs this deal, novates it through an agent.
Yes.
The agent has a buyer who's in Okinawa, okay, who cannot get back in time to beat the foreclosure date.
Yes.
Okay, but you figure that out. We get a POA done that he has to go to the embassy or consulate in Okinawa to get signed so that his mom can sign on his behalf to make sure this thing is all buttoned up before the foreclosure date.
Yes.
Just want to make sure I got all of that right.
Yes.
Okay. Again, tell me how your part-time VA is going to do all of that stuff. Here's the thing that I don't think people understand is when we look at a TC, they're kind of the center of the gears, right, of all the things that are happening. And like somebody has to be in control of these things and make sure that it happens and it happens, you know, before Cinderella turns into a pumpkin. And what was the profit on this novation for our client?
Oh gosh, for our client, I want to say that he profited $45,000.
Yeah, so $45,000 on a deal that would have, I promise you, nobody else would have got that thing over the finish line, right? So he was, I know who our
Yes.
client is. Was he pretty happy?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I saw that he posted
absolutely.
about it on social media, and I'm
Okay.
like, yeah, 45,000. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I hope he sent you a
yeah.
nice little review for that. My goodness. All right.
Yes, and also I want to stress the importance of staying in communication with your TC.
Yes.
That is very important.
Yeah. So picking up the phone when you call because you're like, hey, Joe, like stuff's happening here. I just want to let you
Yes.
know, or hey, we're at a point where we need a decision. So one of the things that I think was important when you were talking about the other file, the first one is, you know, once you hit the wall, what I heard from you is, you know, something happened and you reached out to the client and said, hey, here's the problem, but here are 3 solutions. Which one, or 2 solutions, whatever it is. You know, what do you want to do? So we're not just calling them and going, oh, whoopsie.
Right.
You know, this just isn't going to close. It's not going to happen,
Right.
whatever that situation is. It's that we're, you know, because stuff happens, right?
Right.
As wholesalers, as investors, you know, for me, and I always speak for our clients because I was a long-term wholesaler, we go out and we love to find wacky stuff, right? We love to stack, you know, the out-of-town seller and the foreclosure and the buyer in Japan, and, you know, but somebody has to weave all of those things together. But sometimes there are problems, right? Because you've got so many bad things happening at once. And I love this. This was kind of one of our foundation core principles when we started this company. Because I don't know if you know this, Heather was actually my TC.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, she was my TC when we ran Nationwide Property Liquidators. And because she was so amazing and did such a great job, like her and I built this company based off of like running our own business. So, you know, everything we do is based off of like what I would want done if I was the client. I'm kind of a
Right.
dick, right? Poor Lee deals with me on my files, right? So, so he probably understands. So yeah, so I just think that's important for, you know, people who are thinking about should I get a TC or should I work with Ashley at ezREIclosings, that you know, this is the way that we approach these deals and do everything we can to really save them and make sure, you know, that they're getting over the finish line.
Yes. Yes.
Cool. Any other good stories that you want to talk about?
Currently, I'm working on a file where the seller, she is elderly. She doesn't speak very English very well.
Okay.
Her transportation is limited, and she's trying to hurry and sell her property to move back to the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So the client is trying to rush this thing through. Is it what type of deal is it? Assignment, wholesale, sub two?
It's
What
a
is it?
self-purchase.
Oh, okay.
It
Cool.
is,
All right.
yes.
So that one seems like it should go pretty smooth, right?
You would think.
Okay, you would think. So even on self-purchases, you think people should have a transaction coordinator?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so that's a resounding
Definitely.
yes. So it's not just the complicated deals, because this is something that people will say to us all the time. Oh, well, when I have a complicated deal, I'm going to send it your way. And the problem is, you never know if it's going to be a complicated deal until it's already complicated,
Yes.
and the gun is going off and shooting you, your contract right in the heart of it. So, so
Yes.
tell me about this deal. A very simple self-purchase. What could go wrong?
So there was a holdback, and for the beginning, the title company said, "Oh well, we don't handle holdbacks."
So holdback is the seller's going to stay in the house after closing.
Yes.
And the title company is going to reserve some of that money. Like, say she was supposed to get 100,000, she's only going to get 85.
Right.
And that $15,000 held back or held back is going to be like the carrot. Like, hey, you've got to really get out to get the rest of your money. Right.
Right.
It's an incentivizer to
Right.
make sure it happens. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see. Oh my goodness, she had issues completing the seller docs because she wasn't able to use the computer very well.
Yeah.
So there was also that disconnect. She didn't understand English very well, so we had that obstacle. We had it had extended past the contract date because of the transportation issue. And oh my goodness, let's see. She had already purchased her plane ticket,
Oh.
and so
She was going.
We're rushing
Yeah.
with title. We need this done. She is moving out of the country.
Yeah.
We need this done. So we're right there at the finish line to get this sold.
Okay, so this one's getting ready to close.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow. Well, good job on
Yes,
that.
yes.
So, again, this is our job as wholesalers is we're here to help that woman, right? And then we need a
Yes.
good transaction coordinator to make sure that the stuff
Yeah.
that we envision in our head
Yeah.
is it going to actually come to fruition.
Yeah, and then David, I actually had something interesting happen yesterday. I had a client reach out to Heather actually and say that the seller wasn't really understanding the process very well.
Is this the same seller or a different one?
Different seller,
Okay,
yes. New file that I had just
A new
gotten.
one. Got
A
it.
new one, yes. And had called the seller, and he was very upset and irate. And he pretty much thought that selling his property was as easy as sign the contract, write me my check.
Yes.
But he didn't understand that there's more, like with the title company, need the commitment, all the steps that
all the steps to do this
yes.
right and legally and protect the buyer as well. I think that's an important point to make, and a reason. This is why I feel like realtors really exist, is to hold the hand of these sellers, because typically, somebody will only sell 2 to 3 houses in a lifetime.
Yeah. So,
and wholesalers, they're not the hand-holding type, most of them. They're just like, I just want to move on to my next deal.
Yeah.
So again, another spot where a good transaction coordinator can step in, and I feel like we do hold the hand for sellers. We're that kind of third party that's neutral, and they really trust us and tell us some weird stuff. I've heard some crazy stories from some of the TCs. So cool. So Heather explained that to him and got them all settled down. And
she came and she told me a little bit about the situation that was going on, and so I was able to speak with him, and I got him calmed down, and I contacted my client, and he said, "Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was just miscommunication. He really wasn't understanding our process," and so that really helped him out, helped my client out. By having someone else relay the message.
Right. Yeah, again, so much people just really don't understand that process, and they're like, well, it's like selling a car, right? You come, I'll sign the back of the title, you just take it.
Right.
But that's not the way that works.
No.
But if you do have a seller who's like, just meet me at the bank and I'll, you give me a check and I'll sign a quitclaim deed, like that's also a red flag. So this case was the seller just didn't understand. But if you ever get somebody who's like really pushing you to, to do that, and as a wholesaler, like don't do that. That should be a red flag.
Right.
Let somebody like us, let us look at the file and do a little title search, or at least a quick peek at it, because if there's problems with that title and it doesn't get cleared up, well, those problems are now your problems.
Yes.
And hopefully you didn't pay too much for that deal. So, well, cool. So kind of last question, you've dealt probably now with a lot of files, even after just 4 months. What are some of the things that you see that is a difference between like clients who really have a well-run operation and the ones who are struggling. What do they do that's different from, maybe the people who are just coming on and haven't learned yet, or we haven't been able to help them?
So I think that what I'm learning with some of my newer clients is that they are going ahead and setting a set closing date. Well, they're not accounting for things that sellers don't disclose, like bankruptcies.
Yes.
And that, of course, takes some time, so that will extend it past the closing date. So I think that what's important is for the contracts to be written with 30 days, 60
Yes.
days, 90 days out, because anything can
When
happen.
I first started back in like 2002, people were putting 14 days on contracts and
Yep.
closing somehow. I don't know, But yeah, life is a lot more complicated now.
Yes.
We put 30 days on our contracts at Nationwide Property Liquidators, and then when we got into COVID and stuff, I jacked it all the way up to 90, and then I pulled it back to 60. And what I tell the seller is, hey, Ashley, I'm going to put 60 days on this contract. We're going to close as quick as we can, but I just want to put
Okay.
60 days on here so that if we run into any problems, you don't have to worry about me not closing. I want you to know that
Correct.
I'm locked into this too.
Correct.
Right? And that just makes the seller comfortable, and it gives me or our clients more time to kind of solve those problems if they pop up. But of course, we want to push these things through as quick as
yeah,
possible.
absolutely.
Yeah, you want to get it off your
Absolutely.
plate because you're probably sitting in here having new files pop up in your computer. So yeah, I think that's just an important thing for if you're out there wholesaling
Right.
to put as much time as you can get on there, and that's how you just explain
Right.
it to people.
Right.
Like, yeah, absolutely, we're going to close as quick as possible. I'm just putting this on there so you don't have to worry about me, bailing on
Right.
you or ghosting you.
Right, and I have another new client actually, and he asked me. He said, "Well, do I need to contact title?" No, I got you.
I got you, man.
I got you.
Yeah.
You just hang tight. You do you. I got you.
So I think we talk a lot about how you as a transaction coordinator deal with sellers. Let's talk a little bit about buyers. Like what happens when
Okay.
you get that assignment contract from our client, the wholesaler? Like where do we spring to action, and what's our first steps there?
If I already have a buyer, then I will actually, if this is a wholesale, then I will contact them. Hey, I am actually your transaction coordinator. I'm calling with about your property, XYZ.
123 Main Street.
I just want to call and introduce myself, let you know, hey, I'll be working with you all throughout this process.
Great. And then what documents do you start collecting from them?
So I will send out their buyer documents, and that's just like the seller documents, just a little bit of information about themselves, and just stay in contact with them, or if they have an agent, stay in contact with their agent.
So what are some of the things that you're looking to collect? I would imagine like corporate docs.
Yes.
How are you funding your deal? Or somebody else putting up the money? Are you getting a loan? Like some of those
Correct.
things? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Because I think that's an area where a lot of people don't pay attention, and this is why your deal dies, because you tell your buyer that you can close in 4 days, but in reality, they have a hard money lender who's got to do an inspection and then an appraisal, and that process could take 3 weeks.
Yes.
So.
And I actually have one that's contingent, and the seller thought, oh, okay, well, I'm signing this day. Well, the buyer, they haven't sold their property yet. So, we're going to have to wait just a little bit, but
Nice.
yeah, we're going to get you covered.
Awesome. Any final words for everybody out there who's watching?
If you're any of my clients,
Thank you. Appreciate that. Nice.
that is it.
Cool. Well, listen, guys, thank you so much for watching this. We have a very exclusive community just for those people who are looking to grow their business. And when you join that Facebook group, one of the things that we have there for you to access is a 3-part course on transaction coordination that talks about lots of these problems and the actual solutions and how to solve them and how you can implement this in your business if for some reason you don't want somebody as amazing as Ashley working on your deals. So drop a comment below, or we'll drop a link here for you where you can register for that and jump in that group. And again, that's a course. I think it's almost 3 hours of just hard-hitting TC problem solutions, what you can do, and like some basic paperwork. So thank you so much for joining us on In the Trenches with your TC. We'll see you on the next one.